Hi, I'm Amira Khalid, and I'm the creator and host of Inspiring UAE Women, the one and only podcast focused on female leaders in the United Arab Emirates. In my show, I will be interviewing and shining the spotlight on a diverse group of female leaders in the UAE and hopefully inspire women in the region with their success stories. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoy listening to my podcast. And if you do, please subscribe and leave your comments and ratings on iTunes. You can also follow the podcast on social media and get in touch with me on LinkedIn at Amira Khalid or by email. Details will be in the episode description. My guest today is Sandy Hayek. Sandy is the co-CEO of Time Out Market Operations. Sandy joined Time Out Market Dubai as general manager in early 2021, playing a critical role in its successful launch and continued business growth. Since May 2022, as Time Out Market co-CEO operations, Sandy oversees 7 Time Out markets around the world, a concept that is set to expand globally in the future. Sandy's career spans over 18 years in hospitality across Scandinavia and the UAE, including 9 years in Dubai. Thank you so much for being on my show, Sandy. It is an absolute pleasure to have you. My first question is, Sandy, did you always want to work in hospitality? Can you tell us the backstory about what brought you to or interested you in this field?
First of all, Amira, I also just want to thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be on your podcast. It's many years back, so I kind of need to dig into where it started. And for some reason, I think, some people are just meant to be in the F&B industry. We just have it in our DNA, and it's just something that I call it the people industry, where people are at their best, people are at their happiest. And I think I started to recognize that very early, where this is an industry that you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It's like, this is the industry to get you a lot of dynamics, to meet with a lot of people, to work with a lot of people, gives you a lot of opportunities. It comes with a lot of hard work. But I think when I started, which was in housekeeping at the age of 14, it was a little bit of a side kick where I felt that I wanted to do that rather than be somewhere else and, where the other kids went. So I started to help out in the housekeeping and just realized, like, how fun is this? I could turn records of how many beds I can do in 20 minutes, literally. And then I got into the service part and then the kitchen part. And it was in a city in Sweden where I grew up on the West Coast. And it just went on from there. I don't even look back to if I decided or not. It was just a natural thing where I just gravitated towards it and it just never stopped. And it became basically a part of what I do, or even a part of who I am. So I think there's not really a line in between. It turns into a lifestyle at some point. And it went from hotels in Sweden. I moved to Norway. I've done all parts of, front desk to housekeeping, to reception, to hotel, to kitchen, to front of house, in the restaurants. And then I started managing a restaurant at 19, where I got a great opportunity in Norway to take over a very popular little bistro. It is a big part to where this all went, because I was there for 8 years, and it was called Sophia's, and it was listed at the top 6, one of the best restaurants year on year in Norway. So people will drive a long way to get there. And at some point, I kind of lost my identity. So people start calling me Sophia. So there was no Sandy anymore. I turned into Sophia herself. So I think that restaurant, what it did, and the years building that up over time, from importing beverage to focus on diversity of food, to build up teams, the speed of it, the amount of hours I put in there. And then it just went from there. And I think I turned very Scandinavian in the mountains of Norway, and realized that, hang on, I'm originally Lebanese. There's another side of it as well. So that's where Dubai came into the picture. And I moved to Dubai and have continued ever since, really, in all different kind of sectors, I would say, within the hospitality field. But I think if it's something you want to do, and because it comes with a lot of hard work, it's just once you find that things that drives you in it, that's the main thing that keeps you in it as well. So yeah, it's just, I was meant for it.
Sandy, Time Out Market Dubai, a wonderful and very successful food market. Tell us more about how the project came to be and your involvement in it.
time at market just as a concept. I've been in food halls for many years, but the way it started was in Lisbon 8 years ago, in 2014. So that's when our Portuguese editor, Joao, that was working for our media brand, decided that how do you take this magazine to the next level, and how can you actually experience the best of the city? And this is how Time at Market came about, in a beautiful location in the center of Lisbon, and it's just been a beautiful success ever since. So we started in Lisbon in 2014, and then in 19 we opened in Miami, we opened in Boston, Chicago, New York, Montreal, and the latest one in Dubai. So essentially what Time Market is about, it is expressing the best of the city. So we are the first editorial curated market where we really choose our chefs. First, we choose our mix, obviously, in our categories, what complements the whole experience. And then we choose our chefs based on the rating that our editors have done, based on the quality of food. And we invite them to be a part of this. And it's something that usually is on a yearly basis. And then we reassess and we change to make sure that we always express the best of the city and adjust to new trends or any upcoming chefs, any brands that has a lot of potential that people are not aware of. And then we just keep all our markets positioned as, if you travel to one of the cities or whether you live in that city, that's the place to go. If you want to eat good food, have a great experience, be part of great activations. And that's pretty much what Time Out is today.
Sandy, what drove you to work your way up the corporate ladder? And what does a woman need in the hospitality industry to be successful?
If I narrow it down, you need perseverance, patience, a lot of patience, and it's simply not possible without a lot of hard work. I don't think I ever had an intention to necessarily climb the ladder. I just think that, you take it day by day and just generally enjoy what you do. And when you sort of explore the different aspects of what it is all about, and when you really find the essence of the F&B industry and how amazing it is, it kind of just takes you to places because it is very rare to hold on to it, especially, as a woman, it does require a lot. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of climbing. It's many stairs to climb. It's not the easiest ladder to climb, but I do think there are so many opportunities out there, especially within this industry, because of the future for it, but also because of what it brings you back as an individual, because you work with people and you meet people, and it's all about the giving and to receive back. And it's building communities, and that's a big thing. So once you start to unfold what it is, then I think next thing you know, you're on that ladder. And it's not really intention. It's just, you find what you like to do.
Sandy, when it comes to women empowerment, we have come a long way. How do you think the hospitality industry matches up?
I think in many parts of the world, and now if I would talk maybe specifically more to GCC, there's a lot of opportunities being provided for women that have actually given a higher probability and rates for them to be able to secure jobs in management roles. And just knowing the past 9 years that I've been in Dubai, for example, and around the region, to see how that have evolved is significant. When I moved there in 2013, you would rarely meet a GM, a female GM in a hotel or in a restaurant, or a senior manager in a restaurant. But as the industry have grown, and also because of the value we do bring to this working environment, I think this have also opened up and allowed a lot of opportunities, and to give, to direct those opportunities to females, to give them the chance to want to be part of it. And I can see that across. I mean, to have that equal opportunity is as much in it is in Scandinavia. At the end of the day, it all channels down, because that's where I grew up, and that's all I've known. That it, being in, whether that's a business thing or in outside relationships, it's always been a priority. And now I see that within the field just becoming stronger, and it's just great to see the progress it's done in UAE.
Sandy, to level the playing field for women in hospitality, how can we move past recognizing bias to actively tackling it?
I think perhaps knowledge is one thing, because it's a two-side thing as well. Besides giving the opportunities, is also to work on the skill set. So I think providing the opportunities of whether that's courses, or that's inviting more females to explore the industry, to understand the best of the industry, and really engage them to want to have that opportunity. Because if you look at the numbers applying for a certain role, is maybe not as high to encourage more people to jump on board. So I think it's also providing the platforms of education and provide the platforms of understanding that, yes, it is a lot of hard work, but it is also a profession to be proud of, and a profession that never dies. It's like fashion. There's always a trend. And we as social humans, we will always go out and eat in restaurants. We will always travel to hotels. We will always, want new experiences. So I think that opening a couple of doors from the other side and engage people to accelerate that and increase that number of interest, that will help us to provide more opportunities and hopefully be more equal in the future as well.
Sandy, are there any projects or upcoming work that you're particularly excited about?
I'm excited about anything that has to do with our time markets. So whether that's launching a new chef, I just came back from 6 weeks in the US and met with a lot of our chefs in our other markets. And, just meeting the chefs, hearing the stories, it's everything. It's having that community within a community and seeing where they are at and how we can support them and how we shine light on them and how we, bring them all together and create that intangible element in a market that, differentiates us from a typical or a generic food hall, is that there is a lot of work getting involved with these chefs, getting involved with these small businesses, whether that's a man or a woman or, young or old, whoever it is, whatever story they have, that excites me every single day. And I think with the markets that we have coming up in the future, which is Abu Dhabi, obviously, and then we have Porto, we just recently announced Osaka as well. We have in London, we have Prague coming up. So all of these exciting cities, to go there, to be part of exploring it, bringing the best chefs, there's nothing better. It's literally all of that excites me from A to Z, getting the operations in place, mobilize the chefs, have the opening, getting them up to speed, and then just see how they progress year on year. Yeah, it's something special.
Sandy, are you where you expected to be at this stage of your career or life?
Yes and no. I think subconsciously you always have it there, and then you go, hang on, I think I kind of wanted this. But then how things happens is not always in your control. So I am working with something that I truly enjoy working with. And I've had a passion for food halls for many years, and be a part of one of the leading food halls, it's obviously where I wanted to be. So I can't really say that I didn't, but sometimes opportunities shows up when you least expect it. And the question is, what do you do? And do you jump on? And I usually always do. So here we are.
Sandy, what advice would you give to the new generation of women working in the hospitality industry?
To not give up on it, because I know many personally that have, because of what it comes with. But I think to try to see the bigger picture of where it can bring you, and to try to always understand the best part of it, which actually overweighs the hard work and many hours. And also, once you get to a certain position, there's always ways of building your teams and building your structure so you can still manage through without having to compromise on the work-life balance. So I think that that's something that I would want to encourage more people to still have, that perseverance of keep on going until they really get the structure in place. Perhaps it takes longer than other industries, or it's a different path to get there, but it's worth it at the end.
Sandy, thank you so much for this wonderful interview. It was a pleasure having you on my show.
Thank you, Amira. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Inspiring UA Women podcast. I hope you all enjoyed listening to this interview, and I'll see you in the next episode.